Welcome back, everybody, to another spectacular show for Voice in the Void. I have a special guest with me today. No introductions needed, but I'm gonna let him do his introduction. How you
What's
doing,
up?
bro?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be on the show. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Five Fires. I'm a recording artist from Canada, but I also work on my music in Miami and all over the United States. And I'm really happy to be here on the show with you today. And we got a lot of music out. We're doing a lot of big things. Again, I'm Five Fires, like the number five, and you can find me on all platforms. I'm the only one with a blue check mark. Yeah, man.
Hey, it is dope kind of hearing your story and I've been able to watch it and kind of venture back a little bit too. Um but based off your name, Five Fires. Where did that name come from? How did that become a thing?
So I grew up listening to rock music, right? My dad was a drummer in the 80s, you know what I mean? In the early 90s when I was younger. And so I listened to a lot of rock and roll music, obviously. And then when I became a teenager and stuff, the neighborhood we lived in and stuff and the type of kids that I was going to school with and all that were really into hip hop. And so I started listening to hip hop too. And then, when Korn came out, my favorite band of all time, right? Still is.
Hey, they're
And they
good.
did that. You know what I mean? They did that cross genre, that blend of the two. It just blew my mind, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So, and then growing up and being a business owner and stuff later on, I started listening to all types of music, right? Like R&B, hip hop, rock, pop, new metal, just a wide variety of music, right? And then I told
Yeah.
myself that if I gave myself a name as an artist, it had to be something that was, pushing like some type of manifestation, right? I didn't want to just call myself some random name. I wanted it to have some deep meaning behind it. And so I came up with Five Fires because my goal really is to have, a number one album or number one record in five different genres. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like in rock, and then one in hip hop, maybe one in pop, one in probably new metal for sure, because my style is very
Okay.
much that, and kind of blending all the genres together. So yeah, that's kind of how I came up with the name Five Fires and originally.
Oh, yeah. So you like to dip your toes in different waters.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For me, I just love to create. And when I started creating my own music on my own outside of working with my producers and stuff, I found myself just creating like a wide variety of sounds and music, and I really liked the way that each one sounded, even though it was different genres and stuff. So I figured, we live in a day and age where there's so many cross genres, so many artists doing so many creative things outside of the spectrum and outside of the box, you know what I mean? That I felt comfortable. Like, you know what? I feel like I could release five different genres. I want to do it strategically and in order, so I'm not going from like a new metal beat to all of a sudden I'm a R&B singer. You know what I mean? But I feel like
Yeah.
there's ways of crossing genres where you can kind of guide the sound in different directions. So when I started writing music on my own, just for demos and stuff, I found that I was writing R&B songs, and then I was writing like club songs about drinking in the club, and it was just, I was just letting whatever flows out, and then I was writing a lot of heartbreak songs and some new metal songs. So that's kind of why I kept it all together, and I feel like the name kind of justifies why I have so many different genres. You know what I mean? Like if I
Hey, it
just call
works
myself
though.
Brendan or something, it would be like, okay, why is this guy doing so many genres? But if it's like, what I mean, defined in my name that is like my goal, you know what I mean? Then I feel like it kind of gives me more permission to do that, so to speak. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, it's obviously working. You've built a fan base. You built
Appreciate you.
a family with it, and it's working out for you. So honestly, I hope it keeps working for you, and I wish nothing
Appreciate
but the
you.
best for it. Obviously, uh,
Appreciate big
but
time.
so in your journey, what moment changed everything for you?
As far as music goes, the moment that really, changed everything, as far as like me being dedicated to music goes and me being like, hey, like I'm really gonna do this full time. I'm just gonna jump all in and I'm not gonna run my business anymore, that type of thing. I'd say that's the biggest moment that changed everything is that I was actually meditating, right? I was meditating and I was a businessman and I was getting really depressed because I was buying all this stuff and thinking that, you know, I was gonna find happiness in material things. Like my whole life, that's what I thought. As long as I hustle and get rich, I'm gonna find happiness in something that I'm gonna end up buying or some crazy shit, right? And so I
Right.
ended up buying all this stuff I didn't need, thinking it was going to bring me happiness. And I got to this point where I realized, you know what? There's nothing I can actually buy that's actually going to make me happy. It's just going to temporarily make me happy because I achieved a goal. Yeah, that's awesome. But then I'm going to be like on to the next thing that is trying to like fulfill me inside, you know? So
Yeah.
then I started doing music. And the thing that really made me stick with it was that I was meditating one time, right? I was like doing a spiritual retreat, you know what I mean? Camping out in the woods with some homies, and I was meditating. And I was in this meditative state and I had this vision, right? And I had this vision that I was laying on a hospital bed, right? And I was looking like, you know, up at the bright light on the hospital bed. And right between where the light shined and like where the blackness was in the room were like these shadowy figures, right? And something like gave me like I couldn't talk to them, I couldn't communicate with them or anything, but I could feel them right on that edge of the light spectrum, right? In this vision that I had. And something in my heart told me that these figures were like angry at me, like just mad, like pissed, like you know, like I did them the dirtiest of the dirty, you know what I mean?
Uh,
And I was like trying to like, I remember having this vision and trying to figure it out, like why are these entities so pissed at me, right? Like I don't get it. And then something, call it, you know, my higher self, call it God, whatever you want to call it, right? Call it, you know, smoking too much weed or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I can say that on your show or not, but
Nah, you're good.
you know, call it whatever you will, but something told me inside that these entities were actually my hopes and dreams. And my vision was that I had died and all these entities around me were my hopes and dreams. And they were pissed at me. They were so mad because I never even gave them a chance to live. I didn't even
The
go for it. I was
unaccomplished
so
hopes and
obsessed,
dreams.
right? I was so obsessed with the material world. I'm not saying the material world is bad, right? But I was so
Yeah.
obsessed with it that I didn't even give my burning desire in my heart a chance to even live. You know what I mean? And when that
Yeah.
happened and I came out of that meditation, that changed my life. Like my whole mindset towards materialism, towards spirituality, towards what my purpose is in life. Because after that, I was like, you know what? It's worth taking the chance at going for it for the rest of my life so that I know that, you know, I don't have a chance of that happening. Cause it felt very real to me, you know, and it really stuck with me even to this day. That's why I can describe it, you know, in multiple different settings exactly the same way because it was just so vivid, you know, it really changed my mindset. But the biggest thing that actually changed my music career was being blessed with working with Kevin Rudolph, right? I mean, obviously, that's the biggest thing. I have to say that, of course, right? Not everybody
Yeah.
gets to work with world class producers like that. But as far as what changed my mindset from like I'm going to be a businessman to like no, I don't care about owning a yacht or a bunch of cars or all these toys anymore. I'm just going to, you know, do what's in my heart. You know, that was really it for me. It was a meditative state that I was in and that has just really affected me and I never want to feel like that again. I never want to feel like, you know, I disappointed, you know, something, maybe a guardian angel or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it was
Yeah.
nothing, you know, who knows? But I just don't want to ever feel like I disappointed that again by not even trying. You know what I mean? So that's really what shifted my mindset and what keeps me going all like while I'm on the road and you know sometimes when it's a little bit harder to deal with situations and stuff is really the fans. You know, I've had fans come up to me at shows and be like, "Yo, bro, like I was going through a divorce and then I heard your song Threw My Life Away. You know, it really helped me through that." And that's really been my goal with music because that's what, you know, growing up listening to Korn did for me, you know, in the 90s, you know, like I'd be listening
Yeah.
to Korn after I get picked on at school type shit. You know what I mean? And it really helped me. Like it really helped me get through a lot of stuff. Right. So the fact that I've had a couple of people now come up to me at shows and say that about my music when I'm in situations that might be harder to deal with, or I'm trying to figure something out, or I'm getting frustrated with something, that's what I think about. I think about I got to be there for those people and for the ones that
Yeah.
don't even know that they need to hear it yet, you know? So,
Yeah. Hey, by the way, the song "Threw My Life Away" it is a really good song. I've played it on repeat.
I
I've
appreciate
showed
you,
my
man.
wife. I've
Oh,
showed
hell
my
yeah.
kids. Also another one. Hold on, I have it on the tip of my tongue. Was it
Yeah.
One More Round?
One More Round? Yeah, that was one of the
I
first
really
songs
like
that I
that one as
actually
well. So,
appreciate you. Yeah, that song was
uh,
one of the first songs I actually, like, wrote, recorded, did everything, like, myself, outside of,
okay.
having Kevin, producing my songs, That was really the first one that was just authentically all just made the beat, the whole thing, and I was so nervous to show people that thing too, bro. I was like, because I felt like I just,
Hey,
like,
you know what? It's a really good song. So honestly,
appreciate it.
that's definitely it's a party up. It's a upper song. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you want to get up, you want to dance a little bit, you want to pour a
Yeah,
shot,
right?
you want to hang out and just have a blast. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
a
man.
really good song. And I do
Appreciate it.
have some things coming up in my little questions of cluster
Awesome.
right here. For about Kevin Rudolph. Also about Mercules.
Mhm.
Um, by the way, big fan. So when I heard that you did a song with him, I
Yeah.
instantly jumped over to that song because I listen to every song he puts out,
Yeah. Yeah, he's very
and
talented, man.
he is very
That's for
talented,
sure.
and it's crazy you got to work with him.
Yeah.
I'll save that for a little bit later.
I got you. I
But,
got you.
yeah, no, honestly, like, I was like, "No way, he got to do this, that," like, I was started telling my buddies up there in Michigan where I'm from, and they
Yeah.
checked it out, they liked it too, so obviously,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm fairly picky when it comes to music,
Yeah.
like, there's artists everyone else loves that I can't stand their music. That's what Imma say, without saying names because I ain't trying to get hit, nothing like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but, uh, but all that being said, and like you went through this dark stage, basically, you had to go through basically like a realization,
Yeah.
uh, with what you've experienced and how you've been able to make basically help turn your journey around. What is something you would be able to tell somebody that might be sitting in that same chair basically that you were in once upon a time, or still
Um,
might be once in a while.
Yeah, I'd say like the biggest thing that helps to do that would be, just being open to new things, being open to new experiences. When you're in a stressful situation or you're feeling that, your body's overheating, you're starting to sweat, even though it might be cold outside, because you get that anxious anxiety kind of feeling. You just gotta
Yeah,
kind of remember like what is it like when you get out of that feeling, what is it that took you out of that? Like what snapped you out? Because eventually you're gonna snap out of it, it's the hardest thing in the world to think like that when you're going through it. Oh, okay, I'm
yeah,
gonna be okay. That's the last thing anybody wants to hear when they're having an anxiety attack is that, oh, everything's gonna be fine, right? But when you
yeah,
do snap out of it, if you can try to like immediately try to remember, okay, what did I do differently? Was it like walking my dog? Was it, listening to a certain song? Was it picking up the guitar that somebody hasn't picked up in years or something, right? Was it drawing just like scribbling on a napkin or something? And whatever it
yeah,
is, you just got to try to remember that so that when you start to feel those kind of anxious things happening again, you can be like, oh, I started to feel that way again. Let me just pause what I'm doing and go do that thing that pulled me out last time. Because chances are, if it pulled you out last time, it might not pull you out a second time, but it'll at least put you on the right track where your mindset is going to shift out of that negative, right? Because when people that have a lot of trauma and a lot of anxiety, myself included, it's very difficult for us to get out of that negative mindset.
yeah,
We almost want other people around us to affirm that our crazy negative idea about the situation is correct somehow. And then we we almost get angry at people around us if they're not like, what do you mean? No, I said I'm screwed. Why aren't you agreeing with me? I'm screwed. And people are like, no, bro, you're good. You're gonna be all right. That almost makes us worse, right? So
yeah,
there's always a moment that we have with ourselves that takes us out of that mindset. And if we pay attention when we're coming out of that mindset, what was that thing that made that shift? Maybe it was talking to your spouse. Maybe it was turning off your phone and going and playing pool with the boys at the pool hall or something, whatever it is for that person. But I
yeah,
would definitely suggest something else that really helps for myself is when I'm not having an anxiety attack and I'm not feeling anxious, I try to think of like four or five things that I know that make me excited. You know what I mean? It could be like a meal that I like. It could be a certain it could be whatever it is, right? It could be big or small. And I just kind of have those in my back pocket. And, for me, um, when I was going through it a lot more, for me, it was music, right? So I would like pull my
Mhm.
car over and just start singing in the car, right? For like an hour or however long it took for me to feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's different for it was different for everybody. And if you don't know what it is, then the best place to start is just to pay attention to what happens after you have your anxiety attack. What happened that made you
And
feel
it's
better?
important to learn what triggered that attack too.
Yeah, yeah, that part too, for sure. Right,
No, yeah, I agree with you and all of that. I've been down some really, really dark holes, and it's one of the things where it's learning what set me off into those dark times
yeah,
and learning how I got out of it in the first place. Like you said, music, and it was one of the things at one point in time where between music and smoking a lot of weed to the point where, like, my mind started being real foggy all the time.
right,
Like,
yeah,
I was nonstop high. So, like, it was one of the things, like, I was always present, but I wasn't present mentally. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like, physically, I was always there. Mentally, I was who knows where out. So,
yeah,
it was always one of the things where I learned that it was important to learn which track is best for me to ride on. Like, we moved down
yeah,
to Texas, and because I'm from Michigan originally,
yeah,
uh, but moved down to Texas, and it was almost like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, basically. And I was
right,
able to talk with my wife more and actually explain, hey, this is why I was always like this. And basically, I felt safe to talk about certain things without potential of somebody else stopping by the house in the middle of the conversation, or
right,
someone I don't want hearing whatever the conversation was.
yeah.
But it's important to know what triggered it and how to get out of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and I think being, open and honest with our spouses too is a big part of that, you know? Like,
yeah.
I had to get to the point with my wife, just before we got married where I was just like, listen, like, I'm letting I'm a little mentally unstable. I've been traumatized a few times. And,
Mhm.
it's not to scare you, honey, but it's to let you know that, hey, if I ever get in a state where I'm super negative, like it's nothing personal, you're not doing nothing wrong. It's just a mindset that I'm in. And don't tell me
Yeah,
that, don't try to tell me that, what I'm thinking is necessarily wrong. Just let me vent it out. And when I'm done venting it out, I'll feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Because that was something that I
exactly. Yeah,
noticed too, was that when I had a chance just to let it all out, let out all the negative thoughts. And then, I just hear my wife after I let it all out go, that's the stupidest crap I ever heard. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, that's not you. That has nothing to do with you. What are you talking about?
yeah,
And then I had nothing left to vent. So it's like, what am I even going to say? You're right. I don't know.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I
You
just
know what I
felt
mean?
it is there. Like, I've dealt with
Yeah.
that for this, and
You know what I mean?
but
So it's like,
no, honestly, I've been with my wife for 14 years. We've been
man,
married for
congrats.
5.
Yeah, dude.
And at the start, like, I always had some type of depression and anxiety issues, but it was never to a to really a high severity up until really it was a couple years before we got married and a couple years after. Like,
Mm,
it hit really bad at these like really random times, and
ooh,
it was to the point I talked about it on another show, but it was actually to the point where I took in the consideration of finally taking myself out of the picture. Like, why
yeah.
am I here? I'm not doing this. I'm not, like, I could do so much better, but I'm stuck in some BS mindset that it's holding
Yeah,
me back and it's ruining mine and my wife's relationship. It it makes me feel like I'm pulling away from the kids, and that's not what I wanna do.
right.
And, like, it actually came down to a moment in time where I had scheduled a day I was gonna do it.
Oh, damn. Awesome.
And it was a couple years later, like, so I actually scheduled it. It was June 25th, this past June 25th, I was gonna do it. So it was 2 years before I actually scheduled the day.
Damn.
So, like, in my head, I had, like, basically, like, a mental party. I made it out of that. I made it away from the
Yeah.
situation that was holding me down that I felt at least. And I've been like, as people as, Miss Vero said, so to speak, like an advocate to other people, trying to talk with people and help get
Facts.
them to see, hey, your head, like that's where you gotta take a breather, understand what's going through your head because it's
Yeah.
deep. It sometimes you don't even understand what's really going on. You just gotta acknowledge what's really going.
Facts, yeah, facts, and it's hard because sometimes people that have trauma and anxiety and stuff, we're really hard on ourselves. We're like
Yeah.
we're literally like the worst self critic. Like we even put ourselves, we'll like even punish ourselves and put ourselves down mentally if somebody else is bothered by something that we did. Regardless if we
Yep.
think we were in the right or wrong, we'll be like, Brandon, you're such a jerk. And I'd be like, why am I even like putting myself down? I didn't even, oh, it's just the fact that that person, you know what I mean, isn't
Yeah.
100% okay with me,
Yeah.
that,
No, exactly. And as I've been told, for whatever reason, the doctor felt that they need to share it, which whatever. But uh, I have ADHD and ADD,
oh, yeah,
so it's like, and I'm sure you may have one or the other,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
or both, like me, to where like your mind starts playing all these little tricking games and trying to.
My mind does it all the time. And I'm dyslexic on top of
And
it.
I'm
And
dyslexic. See.
and my brain has a very low serotonin level. It doesn't really know how to make like the happy chemical very well. So it's very easy for me to like slip into like a, you know what I mean, into a very negative
Yeah.
state for like weeks and then not even know how I got there. And it could
Yeah,
have been something like
it's
somebody just cut
truly,
me off in traffic or some,
yeah, and the
seamless
slightest thing
insignificant
can
thing.
make it worse,
Yeah,
and it's crazy. That's funny because like as I've been dealing with my issues over the years, and it has gotten a
yeah,
lot better over time,
good.
and I don't feel like I did at all. But with the dyslexic side of it, I've always been told to like write it down or read
Oh
like
man,
certain segments and stuff like this. And like I don't know what your dyslexia is like, but mine
terrible.
just so happens to be with words.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
same.
I can't sit there reading books and like
No,
I can't
none of that.
enjoy a book because the words are all scrambling together
Yeah,
and
I'm
it
just
just.
gonna be fumbling through it. I'm not even gonna like remember it or like understand what happened in the story or like no
Yep.
type of like picture going on for the story. I'm just like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's crazy, but it's one of the things, it has gotten me to where I am and going through all the different stuff I've gone through. One of the things I've found that actually helps just so happens to be what I'm doing here, like talking with you.
Yeah,
It's still
sure.
like I've noticed like I bring up my depression a little bit in almost every show, but it helps me when I talk about it too.
Yeah, yeah, no
But
doubt.
it's one of the things, especially when you can, like, I feel what you're saying. I understand very much so what you're saying.
Yeah,
So it's like I can relate. So it helps a lot to be
bless.
able to get through stuff like this. And yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to really talk with people, and especially somebody that um obviously you've pushed through all these different issues, and I'm sure you still have the moments in time
Definitely.
where
Yeah,
you're dealing with your stuff, but uh you've made it a point to push by what you're going through, and you changed your life, you changed up what you're doing, no matter good or bad. You've changed and adjusted your life to what fits best.
big facts, big facts. Part of that I think came from like me just like I kind of like got like mad at myself in a way, because I was like, man, I'm just like sick of like being anxious and stressed out all the time. So like
Yep.
part of that, was kind of like a transference of energy, converting that negative energy into a positive by getting like good by I kind of like put my foot down in my head, okay, I'm either gonna just like shut up and like, you know what I mean? Not worry about it anymore, or I'm gonna just like move forward. But I'm not gonna like allow myself to be stuck in limbo anymore. I still find myself doing that sometimes, right? But definitely not as often as I used to. I used to get stuck in like points where like I would get depressed about something and then it's like I would be like stuck in that mindset for like a week, and like don't even want to get out of bed or do nothing. And then
Yeah.
I would just get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm either gonna just like not do this or I'm gonna like, figure out something to do with my life and just like get the hell out of bed and start getting motivated, you know?
No,
And
exactly.
now
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
and now it's just, now I'm doing it for the outside people. I'm not even doing it for me anymore, you know what I mean? I'm doing it for my wife that's really invested a lot of time and energy and money and stuff into the project too. And I'm doing it for the fans that tell me that my music has changed their day. And for the people that come out to the shows and that are, instead of sitting at home doing nothing, they're going out and having a good time.
Yeah.
That's really why I
Yeah.
do it now. But
So, with you saying that you don't necessarily do it for yourself, you gotta accept the fact that you really are. In a way, you are like it's out
yeah,
of it's like pleasure. Like you're having a good time knowing that you're helping this person get through whatever they're
totally.
getting through. You're
Yeah,
helping yourself, and the acknowledgement of what your spouse has been through to help get you to where you are and whatever it might be.
right.
So like it's actually
Yeah.
is from a
No,
form of
facts.
pleasure without taking advantage of.
Facts, yeah. No, you're absolutely
So
right. You're absolutely
so
right.
never say it's not just for you because obviously you have fun doing it. And I've
Yeah, no,
seen some of your
I
stuff
love
on
doing it.
Instagram. I've seen some of your
Appreciate you.
videos. Obviously, you're having
Yeah.
a great
Oh,
time
yeah.
doing
No,
what you're
I
doing.
love it, and
So
I wouldn't wanna spend my time any other way?
yeah,
I've never I always tell people, I've been there, I had the business. I owned a marketing company for 18 years. I still own it, but it's just passive, 100% passive income now. And it's like, I've been there, done that part. You know what I mean? And so for me, this is my time to like do what I love. And I've never been so broke in my life because I've always chased after the money and had a business or
yeah,
this or that. But I've never like felt so fulfilled inside. And
yeah,
I've never woken up so consistently in the morning. I've been like, okay, this is what I have to do today. Is this, and that for my music. And then there's always like some extra shit that, God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, throws in there that is like, that reminds me that like, okay, I'm doing the right thing,
yeah.
the effort is worth it because it's making a difference.
No, fair enough, fair enough. It really is making a difference, and like I said, I could see it from my side. I understand we just got connected within the past couple of weeks, but
Yeah, it's
obviously
crazy.
there's been a big difference. Like from what I've seen from the past to even now, like
Yeah.
you're taking steps, you're taking it up another
Appreciate
level.
you. Yeah, appreciate you. I'm trying.
Hey, no, truly, like it's hands down. You're doing everything you got to do, and it's something to definitely be happy about. And I hope you do uh get to the point where you're actually feeling the pleasure of what you're going through,
Yeah,
what you're doing,
yeah,
because you're doing good not only for yourself but for people around you, whether it's near or far.
appreciate it.
So, like, I honestly, I feel like we definitely will see something big, a lot bigger, I should say, from you
Wow.
coming in the future. So,
Oh, yeah.
so like, I hope that's coming for you, truly.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so
But
much. Likewise.
with that, so consistency, you would say consistency in your uh life has been very much so soul changing. Like it's been able to push you and get you into new variants of your own life.
100%. Well, when it comes to, working on my music or doing, content reels or being consistent with, and filming and editing and all that type of stuff for my content and posting and all that. It is really tedious, but it's just something that I learned to fall in love with because I know it's never going to go away. And I do enjoy doing that part of it too. So that really helps out because then, if my voice is getting a little tired because I've been at the studio every day for like weeks now, then I can kind of, I can take a break from recording and then just, shoot a whole bunch of content for the next couple of weeks to give my voice a break, and do
Yeah,
that.
fair enough.
So, but yeah,
So
it's really the fans driving behind it that's keeping me consistent, and
okay.
like I said, and that meditation that just it really affected me. It really affected me, and I just don't ever want to feel that way again. And if that means that I have to take a risk, the way I see it, I'm taking a risk either way. Because if I don't follow what I'm
Right.
passionate about and what I feel inside, then I'm taking a risk. You know what I mean? And if I do, then I'm taking a risk that it might not work out. But either way, we're alive and we have this one life to live. And I just feel like I don't want to spend any of my time in the day doing stuff that isn't in my heart anymore. And ever since I started following that, when I started doing music full time, that's really what's been a big part of guiding this whole process. There's been times where I've missed flights and things didn't work out. And and then it was like shown to me like a couple days later, oh, that's why I didn't go to this because that weird ass shit was going to happen. And I'm supposed to be over here doing this bigger thing. And at the time I didn't understand it. And it's just those type of things just started happening so often that it just really put faith in that, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Honestly,
so many
it's
opportunities to stop it.
yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. 1,000%. It's
Yeah.
you. Yeah. I don't know what to put on with that. Obviously, everything you've done not only has shown it's working in some way or another for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, and I know I've said it a few times, but honestly,
Yeah.
that's all that matters. Like, not only is it helping yourself, it's helping someone else. It's giving you new signs basically that, hey, maybe this
Facts.
isn't the right time for you to go to this place, like missing a flight.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened when you landed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no, exactly, bro. Exactly. And I used to get really stressed out, like anxiety attacks and shit like at the airport, you know what I mean? And all that. When weird things would happen that I wasn't really prepared, not necessarily prepared for, but just wasn't expecting, wasn't a part of the plan. And now I just really do my best that when those type of things happen, I just try to take it at face value and I go, okay, this happened because something else was supposed to happen instead.
yep.
Like even today, to be honest with you, I was supposed to get on a ferry this morning to go over to Vancouver Island across the water. I was supposed to drive my car on there, everything. And I got to the ferry lineup and I was looking for my wallet and I couldn't find it. So I called my wife. She found my wallet, but then that triggered me to think, yo, I thought my passport was in my backpack too with my wallet. And she's like, I can't find your passport. And I'm like, oh no, I've got this, Miami trip planned in like 21 days. Like I got no time to get a new passport. So that, gave me anxiety, right? And she's looking around the house. She puts me on, FaceTime, bless her soul, trying to find it, showing me all the corners of everything, right? And being really patient with me and shit. And we can't find it. She's looking for like half an hour. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to get a refund for my ferry ticket and I got to come home. Like that's number one priority. Forget making content this weekend, even though I had a whole team and stuff ready to go for that. I got to find my passport, right?
Hmm.
And so I turn around, drive all the way home. This happened today, like before we got on the interview, right? And as soon as I get home, it took me about 5 minutes, and I was looking in the same spot she was looking at. It took me 5 minutes, and boom, there was my passport. And I never even touched it. It was like I just looked over in the corner, and there it was sitting right there. So then I kind
Mm,
of took that as like, okay, that doesn't mean that my Miami trip isn't going to work out. That doesn't mean
yeah.
that no, I'm not going to have my passport for my trip. It had nothing to do with my passport. For whatever reason, I wasn't meant to take that boat today, and God wanted me to come home. That's
Right.
why, I got there and I found the passport right away. You know what I mean? It wasn't even about the
Hey.
passport. It was never really missing. You know what I mean? And by fluke, I found
Yeah.
it. So, well, that was an example of like something recent that happened today that was like something went sideways and I got a little bit anxious, but not like I normally do, where I start overheating and sweating and all this craziness, right? Like anxiety attack stuff. I kept it a bit more cool today and
Speaking
I was
of
like,
that,
you know
I'm
what?
getting
No,
hot.
there's a plan for it. you know? And then I came home and then like within 5 minutes, I found it like right away.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Do you
Hey,
want to go
that
back to the island tonight?" And I'm like, "There's no point because I'm gonna get there. It's gonna be nighttime. I'm not gonna be able to shoot anyway. So I'm gonna go there first thing tomorrow morning." And and today I wasn't meant to go, and that's fine because there's been many times where like I was gonna go do something big that I thought was really important or something, for my music career, and it didn't work out for whatever
mhm,
reason. And then, I ended up doing something else instead that was more, long term, right? Like one time I had this show that I was going to go and do. I was going to open up for this pretty well known artist. I was super excited about it, everything like that. And then it was like 2 days before the show, like the airline went on strike and then we couldn't get another ticket and like we'd get another ticket, but it wouldn't put me there in time for like the sound check and everything. So I ended up staying back. But because I stayed back, I ended up hosting a party, at a mansion in Miami, which I would never have been a part of if I went and did that other show. And sure, I would have
yeah,
opened up for somebody, but that Miami mansion party, opened a lot more doors for me as far as opportunities go, even though I didn't understand it at the time. But once we were done the pool party, I was like, okay, damn, it's a good thing I didn't go all the way out there. And then I was looking online at the openers and the other artists that actually made it to the show,
mhm.
and I was looking at how it went and what went on, and then I heard online about some drama and stuff. And I was like, "Whoo, that was a blessing! I skipped that,"
Hey,
because I was like so devastated at the time that I couldn't go. I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna screw up every. Why should I even do music?" Like it just goes, and I'm never gonna stop, regardless of any of those type of things.
yeah.
But so I
Well,
think a
obviously,
big
it saved you from being a part of whatever drama went off.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
totally, totally. And I got to do something way more fun, and I got to meet some really cool people. And I've got some people in my group chat there that I met that night that do some cool things in Florida as far as the music scene goes. And now they're a decent part of our. I wouldn't say my team personally, but of the team that is supporting each other in the networking group, right? So. I would
yeah,
never have made that connection there if it wasn't for missing out on that other opportunity, right?
right, right.
So
So I guess speaking of opportunities, I guess we can jump back over
yeah.
with how did you come to being able to work for one with Mercules, and how exactly was that experience for you? Like I'm sure it was a little different because I heard in a sense he can sometimes be a little crazy, but I mean, who can't in the same? But how was that for you?
Mercules at the time, really, I mean, he always has lots going on, right? So, it was amazing to be able to do a collab with them. You know, um, One of the things I really wanted to do at the time was not only do a song with Kevin, which we had Through My Life Way out already for that, but I
Mhm.
wanted to do a song with like a Canadian rapper, right? And in my
Okay.
opinion, there's no other, what I mean? There's no other bigger Canadian rapper than Mercury's for the West
Yeah.
Coast where I'm from in BC, anyways, right? I talk about
Mhm.
Toronto and stuff like that. On the West Coast, right above Seattle, coming out of the
Yeah.
West Coast, you know what I mean? He's the only rapper in Canada that signed to Death Row, right? And so
Oh,
for
that's
me, it was
true.
like, and at the time when we were doing the song, it was like there hadn't been a Cash Money and Death Row collab on a track in like 20 years or something crazy like that. You know what I mean? It hadn't happened in a long time. And so I
Mm.
really wanted to make that happen. And I wanted to make it happen with a dope artist from America and another dope artist from Canada. So I
Okay.
was reaching out to people trying to get a hold of Mercules. He's got a pretty solid team, right? Like he's got good management and probably assistants to his managers and stuff, So it was a bit of a hoop to jump through. But I ended up reaching out to this one promotion company, production company in Canada, and
Okay.
they do a lot of shows in Western Canada, British Columbia, Alberta type thing, and
Okay.
they were friends with Mercules, right? And so one of the guys there, that is one of the event organizers. He's also a rapper, right?
Okay.
He's friends with Mercules. He's pretty close to him. And I told him, I said, "Hey, bro, like, you want to hop on this track? If you can get a hold of Mercules for me." we can work something out where, I'm going to pay for the track, I'm going to pay for the features and all this, and we can work something out. So we ended up working out that, I got a certain amount of tour dates in Canada that I didn't have to pay to go on or none of that shit. I just had to make myself to the venue, and then, I could do tours. Right. In
Oh yeah.
exchange for that other artist to be on the track with me, Merck, and Rudolph. Right. So he said, that
Okay.
sounds great. I'm going to talk to Mercules. So he talked to Mercules for me. Mercules was down to work with us. It was a bit of a process getting everything finalized. One thing I find with artists in Canada versus artists in America, artists in America, if somebody wants to work, they're just going to book a studio. You all are going to show up and just make music. You know what I mean? It's going to be dope. Right.
Yeah.
In Canada, there's a lot like people like to have like paperwork done for things. You know what I mean? So I had to send Mercules like a draft of like a contract of like this is how it's gonna go and all this, right? And there was
Yeah.
NDAs signed and all this stuff. So in Canada, the music scene works a little bit different that way. People really enjoy having paper trails versus in America, people are a little bit more, I think, free in the sense of like, hey, I want to just jump on this song with you. Sure. Yeah. Just pull up to the studio. We're going to do this shit, bro. Oh, you want a
Okay.
feature? Yeah. Send me $1,000 and we'll work, bro. There's not really a
Mm.
whole lot of like paperwork stuff done per se. So I mean, once the paperwork was done, I sent him his deposit. He signed the paperwork. And then it wasn't very long before he had the song back with his verse on it. I love his verse on the track. I think it's perfect for
Nice.
the track. Um, there was some discrepancies when the drop date was going to happen, but that was kind of on my team side a little bit. At the time, I had a different team, and things were a little bit different as far as their rollout plans go. So that kind of made things frustrating, but it wasn't directly like Mercules or somebody that was on the project that kind of made that happen. It was
Gotcha.
more like people that were involved with distribution and making sure music videos get done and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, I never really, I didn't go to the studio with Mercules. I sent him the track. I
Yep.
wish I would have gone to the studio with them. But he was just super busy at the time, and I was in the U.S. at the time, recording more music and doing content and stuff. But typically, I like to show up and then actually like work with people in the studio when they work on the tracks and stuff. But um,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
either way, you got a great song from it. You got
yeah,
a
yeah.
great
No, it's a
rapper to
great
jump on
song.
it.
I think that the song, I think is I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm really happy with Mercules' parts. Everybody's parts on it is
Yeah.
awesome. And I don't think I don't think the song has really seen its day yet. It hasn't. The song hasn't had $10,000 worth of backing for radio play and stuff yet. You know what I mean? A
Nah.
lot of people that hear the song really like the song. I haven't had a lot of people say that, oh, that song wasn't really for me or anything like that. I performed the song. I have another version of it that I performed by myself because
Okay.
obviously you know Kevin Rudolph and Mercules aren't going to show up to every time I want to perform solo, right? So I have
Yeah.
another version that I do as my live performance, which is very similar. But yeah, it was a great project. It got delayed a couple of times and things like that, as sometimes projects do. But I was very happy with the outcome at the end of the day, and yeah, it was just a blessing. I remember at the time thinking, "Oh damn, how did I pull that off again?" Like I got blessed with Kevin, and then you know what I mean? And then, like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking Mercules would be perfect on this one because it has a bit more of like a poppy, almost like borderline country kind of undertone to it, you
Yeah.
know? And I was like, man, Merc would be perfect on this one. So I remember when I got him on there, I was so happy. Yeah, maybe one day we'll do a show together and get to play it together. I don't know. I don't really
Hey,
talk
that'd be
to him
dope,
personally.
honestly.
He's got a lot
That
going on. Whenever I was reaching out to him and talking with him and stuff, it was mainly his management team, right?
mhm.
Rightfully so. He's a really well known artist and stuff, right? That's why you have a
Yeah.
manager so that they can talk on your behalf type shit, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing about the Mercury's project is that, I wish I had a little bit more time with the guy to chat it up and type shit. But I understand, when you get to a certain point and music becomes, a lot more music business, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
somebody will pay for a feature and this guy, he's probably pumping out like 10 features that studio day, you know what I mean? He don't got time to call you up and ask you how your day was on every one. You feel me? So it ain't
Hey,
no
right. I
thing.
follow him on pretty much every platforms. He always has something going on.
Right?
And
Yeah, man.
honestly, it's you too. You got a lot going on. You got
Appreciate it.
uh I don't know if I can say, but you have an upcoming project coming
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it seems to be gaining some traction, it's getting some looks and you know,
yeah, yeah. The
is that
darkness is
something you can
coming
talk
out.
about right now or not yet?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
So you have I guess I'll let you bring that song in because it is yours, it's your project, it's your thing. But
yeah. So, the
what
song's
made
called
that song?
yeah. So the song's called the darkness, right?
Yep.
And obviously, the title kind of explains a little bit about what it's about, right?
Mhm.
It's about dealing with trauma and all that type of stuff, but not necessarily like the trauma bringing you any darkness, so to speak. It's
Yep.
more like it's more like becoming self-aware, right? So it's like instead of somebody battling the darkness and being like, okay, that's evil or that's this or that's not right or that's not this or that, instead of somebody battling those things, you actually learn to love the darkness and understand that that's where the light, that's the contrast to the light. You can't have one without the other. It doesn't mean you have
Right.
to dwell on like negative things or anything like that. It just means that you have to understand that there's a give and take, right? To both things, right? So the song "The Darkness" is really about falling in love with that part of yourself that a lot of people are afraid to even like acknowledge that's there, right? And that's the part of you that that might tell the little white lie, that might cut somebody off in traffic and finger them, do the little tiny shit like that that we
Yeah.
all do when we're irritated with the world, in our daily lives, and it's all about just not becoming a jerk to everybody, but understanding that there's light and there's dark for a reason, right? And
Yeah.
it's not just us humans in our brains that have that. It's the entire planet. It's all the animals, all the nature on the planet understands those two principles. And so it's more to bring like it's more to it more describes transformation of energy is taking that negative and then transforming it into a positive, right? That's
Right.
why there's a lyric in there that says the darkness is stealing my soul, but I like it. It's making me feel whole, right?
Mhm.
Which means that if there's something that somebody else might perceive as darkness, and I mean, as long as you're not hurting anybody or anything like that, right? But
Yeah.
for you, maybe that's something that actually makes you feel good, right? Some
Mhm.
people might see getting tattooed as like an evil thing, right? But for
Yeah.
me and maybe some other people, maybe we enjoy getting tattooed. Maybe we low key enjoy the pain of getting tattooed for some reason, right? Who knows, right?
Yeah, it's like,
That's kind of the basis
I
of it.
say with tattoos that it's like, it helps it's something basically like, you can't really control, but it helps censor whatever thought, like, it's a
Yeah,
form of therapy.
yeah, yeah. It really
That's why they
is.
call it ink therapy, and it
Yeah,
honestly I don't have
yeah,
a lot of tattoos, but I enjoy tattoos, and I'm actually
yeah.
scheduled to get a couple more.
Nice.
But with that, do you have you considered getting basically like a form of like a symbol that relates to a song or your music tattooed on you as like a
Yeah,
memorabilia type thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm totally planning on it. I've got a bass guitar that goes all the way up my arm, right?
Okay.
With some music note type stuff. That's the only sort of music stuff I have right now. All my
Okay.
other stuff is like circle of life kind of stuff, like nature and trees and different animals and water and things like that. But I do want to get my label logo tattooed on the outside of my hand there,
Okay.
right on the outside. I don't have
Yeah.
anything tattooed on my hands yet because I used to be a businessman, right? So I cover up my tattoos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have to hide it all. But now, I'm in this for life, right?
Yeah.
So at some point I want to get the label name tattooed on the outside of my hand. And so I have a bunch of other tattoos in the works that are more music related. I just haven't really got them yet. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So, uh, do you have, do you, I'm trying to think. Let me get back over here real quick so I don't fuck it up.
You get
um, so do you have a song that you haven't released yet, or you may be intentionally prolonging a release
yeah.
that might trigger like a deeper emotion from you?
Yeah, actually I do. I have it's a very emotional song. Even when I'm at the studio and I'm, rehearsing it, right? Sometimes I get like, I get a little teary-eyed rehearsing it. It's a very emotional song. Um, I'm not sure when I'm gonna release it. It's very different than my other songs. I mean, it's still me, but as far as like the style goes and all that,
Yeah.
it's more of like a pop kind of acoustic R&B rock song, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And I can tell you about it. It's called "Blood on My Halo,"
Okay.
and it's
I like the
basically,
title.
what I mean, it's basically about, what I mean, trying to, what I mean, unalive yourself, for lack of a better
Yeah,
term,
I understand.
and
Yeah.
failing, and then coming to terms with, well, there's a reason why I'm here. And
Yeah.
then, yeah. So it's called Blood on My Halo. The
Okay.
first little bit goes, I should have been gone, but I'm still here. Even angels bleed. And then the rest I'm going to
Okay.
leave. But that's kind of
No,
the
okay,
vibe of it.
okay. No,
So
you're
it's a lot
good. Like I
darker,
don't.
very emotional. And yeah, that one, I'm not sure when that one's going to come out. I'm building a catalog right now. I'm at 32 songs. I'm building a catalog of 40 songs before I start, dropping full albums and all that stuff. And in the meantime, I'm just dropping singles until the catalog's ready. That's definitely one of
Okay,
the
fair
songs
enough.
in the catalog that I'm just gonna hold on to, and I'm not gonna be releasing as a single. You know what I mean?
Okay, no, definitely. I understand why you don't want to get into it too much. I have some music like that for myself. I don't perform it. I
Yeah.
just write it. But
Right.
it's things where it reaches in on a different connection. So I get it, and I hope hopefully I can send it to me when it does
Mhm.
get released.
Oh yeah, 100%,
Uh
100%.
'Cause I would love to, keep up and keep hitting the different tracks with you, getting a more of a feeling from you, like, I like to feel people out and, like, I listen to your music, I watched your videos, I went through different posts that you've put up just to try to catch what type of vibe that you'd put off, and honestly, you seem like a really great guy, so
Appreciate you, bro.
again,
Likewise, man.
I do my best. I do my best.
It's all
Um,
we can do, right?
exactly. Let me see. So, do you have any dream collabs?
I
Like
mean, all this
anyone in the world, anybody?
anybody, huh? Um, hmm. I've got a couple of minds, you know. Obviously, Jonathan Davis from Corn would be crazy. I met him before. He's a really nice guy. I've never reached out to him about music or nothing like that, but that would be a dream collab. Another
Okay.
dream collab, honestly, would be the big homie Rose, the biggest boss, Rick Ross, having him on a record, that would be a dream collab, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think the deepness and the growliness of his tone would sound crazy on like, one of my Linkin Park kind of crossover rock hip hop songs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because he's got such a deep like growl, And when I scream and when I'm singing and stuff, it's the opposite. It's more of a higher raspy tone, right? When I'm
Mhm.
belting. So to contrast that with Rose would just be crazy. That'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
It
So
it definitely
maybe
be
one
a
day.
listen to. So all right, I got. let me see. I got 5 more questions for you.
That's my favorite number.
Hey, I didn't even yeah, didn't even click. But first, so you already said your favorite artist. So, well, I guess band. Do you have
Yeah.
a single favorite artist?
Man, that's such a hard one. So I listen to so many different types of music.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
that.
Man, yeah, a single favorite artist. Huh. If I had to say, oh man, that's such a hard one. You know what? If I had to say like favorite of all time, I would have to say, the lead singer of Aerosmith. I say he's
Okay.
probably been like one of the most influential, like growing up and stuff. I really love his diversity and his vocal control. He can do, soft kind of R&B, smooth stuff with his voice, but then he could do, really raspy rock and roll, and then he can do songs that have both, and he's switching
Yeah.
from head voice to chest voice to all these different techniques. And then just sonically how they put their music together and everything. I would definitely have to say, yeah, yeah, I would say probably, yeah, lead singer of
All right.
Aerosmith.
Hey, not a bad
Yeah,
choice. Not a bad
yeah.
choice at all. Let me see. So these next 4, the kind of rapid fire, just to like whatever comes to your head, shoot it off. Let's see what you got, right?
All good.
So, and they're not like crazy, like they probably won't touch too deep or whatever like that. Like this one. So, do you prefer studio or live stage?
Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. Um, I love making new music. I love being in the studio. I love the vibes of the studio, a lot. But I would have to say live stage just because, I really enjoy meeting people face to face, and being there and, having an objective, which is to make people remember me and remember my music, right? And I kind of
Yeah,
like that challenge, when I'm on stage, a lot of people are into my music, but then, sometimes there's the guy who's standing by the bar playing on his phone, and then
yeah,
there's like somebody else in the corner talking to their homie with their back turned or something like that, right? And it's like that for everybody's show. Everybody has a couple people like that. So I really
yeah,
enjoy the live show, because I enjoy creating like a positive energy and a positive vibe for everybody. But I also enjoy it because I see those type of people as challenges when I'm doing my performance, right? Like, how do I get that person's attention? So how am I going to be more important than, whatever they're doom scrolling on, you know what I mean? When they're supposed to be outside with their friends in a club doing this and that, and they're on their phone. How do I grab that person's attention? And
right,
I love that. And when it does convert to, somebody putting their phone in their pocket and be like, yeah, okay, I'm here with y'all type thing, right? That makes me feel really good because now I'm changing the energy of the room. And I'm very sensitive to people's energy and stuff like that. So I would say the live show, because there's more energy there, is probably my favorite. Yeah, I love being on stage. I love performing. I like, entertaining people. I
okay,
like the idea that somebody could be having a bad day or fighting with their spouse or, just got off work or whatever. And all of a sudden now they're smiling and jumping around with strangers and having a great time. That's my favorite feeling in the world is really, even when I was a businessman, I would put like a certain amount of my paycheck aside every week, and like it would drive my my wife, girlfriend at the time, crazy because every weekend I would go out to the club and I would just start like, buying drinks for like random strangers all over the place. She'd be like, "Why the hell you do that?" And I say, "Because I make a certain amount of money and I put a certain amount aside, and whoever God puts in my environment, knowing that I'm going to go out and make sure everybody has a good time, is just who happens to be there, right?"
right,
And so when I started performing as a vocalist on stage, I just kind of took that same sort of energy into my performance, where it's like I'm not there just to show up and perform for half an hour, and then leave. Right? Like I show up
right.
there right when the venue opens, and I stay until they turn on the light and kick everybody out. including the staff. You know what I mean? And I'm there, introducing myself to people, saying hi, and all this stuff the whole time because I really like to be a part of everybody having a good time. And I
Right.
feel like there's a lot of negativity in the world. So if I can thug it to chase my dreams and all this so that somebody else has a better day, for me,
Yeah.
that means more than recording my music, you know?
Hey, no,
So
fair
yeah.
enough. That's fair enough. It sounds like you have a lot of different fun when you're out. It'd be nice if I had someone to buy me drinks at a bar once or twice.
Yeah, I wish I could still do that. I struggle to get my own drinks now.
Hey, no, I feel that. Nah, I just barely drink at home.
Yeah.
So would you say, that being said, would you say you're a coffee guy or an
I'm
energy
definitely a
drink guy
coffee.
then?
I'm definitely a coffee drinker. I used to be a really big energy drink drinker when I had my business. I was terrible, man. I drank like probably like 5 or 6 Red Bulls a day for like so
Oh boy, I
long,
was
bro.
too.
Yeah, like
I
it
was
wouldn't it
too.
wasn't even doing nothing anymore. Now I'm a pretty big coffee drinker. But I just kind of have coffee at home that my wife makes. She makes it the way I like it and stuff, and it actually has a little bit less coffee and more, almond milk in it type shit. Um,
I've been trying to tell my wife almond milk and
yeah.
coffee actually goes
Oh,
together.
so good. Yeah,
She
so
fights
good.
against me with it.
But so once in a while, I
Um,
pop a Bull if I need to. You know what I mean? Like today, I need a Red Bull. Last night I was up pretty late, making content in Vancouver, that type of thing. So
yeah.
I didn't want to be, half asleep, falling asleep on our interview. So I bought one and I saved it for right before, right before I hit the button. I cracked that, chugged half of it, and I'm like, all right, now we're good to go.
Hey, no, I
Like,
appreciate it. Made sure you had energy to be here. Then I
Oh, of
appreciate
course,
that.
man. Of course. I
Um,
gotta, give you the respect. You have me on your platform, bro. I really appreciate you big time. You know?
uh, uh, you don't even understand how much I appreciate having you and every other guest that I've had on. It honestly, it's a big appreciation. Basically, I I like to hear other people's journeys, like the different experiences people have. Even
Yeah.
some, I guess, that could be similar to where, like, my journey might not be going down the same road yours is, but in the sense of like dealing with like the mental struggles and overcoming them, it's been a big thing. And honestly, it's played a big role in your life. As
Yeah.
of what it sounds like, it's played a as of what I know, a big role in my life.
Right.
And just having the right people in your corner, it helps, and
Yeah.
conversations like this helps as well. So,
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
love it.
no, so I appreciate you for joining and everyone else that comes on. So
Likewise,
that
bro.
yeah. Um,
Sir.
but, so back to that question, what is something that people that know you, 5 Fires, that people don't know about 5 Fires?
Well, some people know that I used to play bass guitar when I was a teenager. Because of my tattoo, I've explained my tattoo before and stuff. But what
Yep.
people don't know is that after I was a bass player, in my early 20s, I moved into the band van. So I was the guy in the band, right? The bass player was the guy who bought the van so we could haul the drum set around to shows and all that stuff, right? Like the old piece of crap van, right? Classic ass story. And when the
Uh,
band broke up, instead of me going, oh no, what am I going to do now? This and that, I actually moved into my van and I moved downtown and I parked across the street from the Lamborghini dealership. I have no idea why nobody came in to ever check out this van, but nobody ever bugged me. And I went to downtown Vancouver and I had these goals in mind. I wanted to get like a corporate job because I was sick of worrying about money and stuff. I wanted to get, a penthouse. I wanted to get a car. I had all these things, a dog, these type of things. And I lived in that van until I started my own business. And then I remember the first time I got paid for my own business that same week, my band stopped running. It like wouldn't start. So I just gave it up to a towing lot because I'm like, it's not gonna start, it's not gonna do anything. And then I went out of town for business and came back and moved into my place. And the rest was history. Then I went into business for 18 years. But so the moral of that story, and most people don't know that when I made the transition from playing bass, that I was actually deliberately put myself into living into my van so I could better my life and focus on my goals and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of something that I went through. Most people don't know about. It was, when I was like 21 to like 23, somewhere around there when it happened. So it was quite a long time ago.
Okay.
But I wouldn't take it back for anything. It was a big part of my life, and I'm glad that I never took any handouts. I never really asked for too much help from my parents and stuff like that. And I just took my life in my control and said, you know what? No, I'm not going to come stay at your house. The band broke up. I'm just going to stay in the van until I figure out my own stuff. And I'm so glad I did, because I wouldn't have gone into business for myself if I didn't. Right. So
Hey,
yeah,
fair enough. I mean, again, obviously it worked out for you in the best. And it's tragic at the time being, don't get it wrong, but
yeah,
it it's like a lesson learned and it helps. All right, now I definitely gotta do something different.
yeah.
Uh so no, that's kind of crazy to hear, but unfortunately it also seems like some of the best artists and even musicians come from having that moment of sleeping in their vehicle of some sort.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's a big part of a lot of people's journey. And I think it's,
yeah,
making that shift from working, a regular 9 to 5 to being an artist, it kind of does that to people in a way, because there's always going to be that transition period. Unless, you got really lucky, which, and like blew up on TikTok while you still had a regular job, then maybe you don't have to worry about those type of things. But for
yeah,
majority of artists, we always have a spot in our career where it's like, no, we really have to like make a choice. Are we gonna, downgrade our lifestyle so we can save our money so we can do our art, or are we going to, not do it so hard or so heavy, And for me at the time, it wasn't even about music. It was just about I wanted to be my own boss. I was sick and tired of like working my ass off for other people for them to tell me how much my hour's worth. I knew that I could do a lot more than other people could do in an hour, but I wasn't getting paid any different for it. So I wanted to be my own boss so that if I worked harder, then I got the job done sooner, meaning I could go on to the next job and make more money that way. So yeah, it was a big risk that I took, and it was really scary and nerve wracking. But I had my gratitude book there that I was writing in every morning to stay positive and stay focused on my goals. And every morning I wake up and I see the Lambo that I dreamed of, right there across the street. So that really helped too. Which I still don't have a
hey,
Lamborghini, but you know,
hey, you know what? At this point in time, right? If you could buy a Lamborghini, you could buy a nice house.
facts. Yeah, facts. And I think
So,
I take the house
right,
right now.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Not
I would
23
definitely
anymore.
take. Exactly, exactly. Like I'm not as young as I was when I was dreaming of having, going out trying to come up with some type of way to get that Rolls Royce Phantom that I always wanted
Oh, hell yeah.
ever since I seen the one in the 90s. By the way, I still think the one in the 90s was kind of ugly, but I love the fashion, like
Oh,
the
cool.
style of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, if you look at it, you go even farther back, you get what I call the cool cars,
Oh
like the
yeah.
classics. You
Oh
got them
yeah.
type.
Those
That'd
are
be a
so
dream
nice.
for me at this point.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to have like an old donk or some shit,
yeah,
like a
yeah, and
Cadillac that has like big rims on it, and then they do like the matching fucking steering wheel to the tires to the rims. That's
yeah.
so cool, man.
My buddy actually went out. He bought himself a Charger. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. He went out and bought himself a Dodge Charger that was donked
Oh
out. It
damn.
had big old like I
Oh.
think he said it had 24s on it. And it
Woo.
was bright orange. The rims were orange. It had that black racing stripe down the middle. It was a nice car,
That's fire,
but
bro.
but yeah, it was nice. And this was up in Michigan, by the way. Like this is where you didn't really see him very often, but when you did see him, you knew you
Like,
had a feeling of who was driving it. But then you see this
yeah.
hillbilly jump out of it. It didn't fit, but it was
You're like,
like,
wait a sec.
yeah.
What?
I'm just saying, like, it fit. It didn't fit, but it fit. Like it fit his style,
Right.
kind of.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, he's always had these big lifted vehicles. Then he went to a bright orange car that was
That's so
lifted up
lit.
in his own.
That's so
And now he has a Camaro that has big old
Woo.
rims on it too.
Nice. Let's
So
go. Let's go.
so he's like moving it, and
Oh
more
yeah.
power too. But first you spoke up about basically being a boss, being living like a boss style basically, and being in charge
Yeah.
of your own and so on and so forth. And I wanted to kind of show this like first off the music you got going. Yeah, I found your page, your site, so
Appreciate
I
this.
figured I'd share and show the love with it.
Thank you. Thank you, bro.
Um, so this is the one that just came out, correct?
Yeah, that
Uh,
was the last one that we dropped. Haunted Streets. Yeah. Featuring Young Breed from Maybach Music.
yep, yep. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because I was looking, I was scrolling through everything. By the way, this is the upcoming or
Yeah, yeah. This
tomorrow, right?
Saturday. Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow.
All right.
Tomorrow, that's
So
gonna be crazy.
hey, maybe just to show the love and support, I make sure I get this up a little sooner, if anything, uh, just so it can be kind of around it or like early morning. So hopefully it can kind of jump into it with.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's lit, bro. Appreciate you, man.
but then you got this coming up as well. You got a block party.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually that block party so far is actually the last stop on my Western Canadian tour. When I came back from Atlanta last time for the Rick Ross Car Show, I came
Yeah.
back to Canada and me and the team had booked I think it was 24 days, 24-day tour, and that block party is the last date of that tour. So
So
I did like 24 shows or so, 23
okay.
shows, in the last like month and a half, really, since like
Okay, that was my
June
next question: is
20th.
how many shows did you do in this time? But you definitely you took that one from me.
Yeah. Yeah. So from June 20th till now, I've done about 24 shows. Yeah.
24. That's kind of a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but
Like, there was a while where it was like a show every day, for like a week. It was like, yeah.
hey, I mean that's the best way to go though. Like you have to be able to express it and show these things. You know what I'm saying? And you're
Yeah.
doing it. You're able to
Yeah.
like. So are these all the songs you're performing?
Those are all the songs that are out right now.
Yeah.
I there's a couple on there that I don't perform at every show.
Okay.
Like one more round, I don't perform that every time. The Bel Air bottle song, I don't. I've never performed that one actually because it has a bunch of other artists on it, and there's no other version that's just me because
Okay.
it was a total collab song. Soul, I usually do every show. Through My Life Away, I usually do every show or so, and then I do. I've actually been performing The Darkness already, which
Okay.
is part of the reason why I decided to drop it is because people were really liking it. And then I have two other songs that I actually perform live that are not on there. That I perform just so that I have a longer set. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
So
and then
I definitely love to kind of get the hint of what the songs are that you're not sharing, that you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
putting out for the rest of us to enjoy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No, I'll
Like,
share a Google Drive with you, and I'll put the live set in there so you can see the same ones that I perform live. You know what I mean?
all right, yeah, no, that'd
Yeah.
be dope. That'd be dope, man.
I do. I think I
But
do 5 or 6 songs live. Yeah,
hey, that's still not bad. That's a good amount of time, and I know it gets hot up on stage. So,
yeah, yeah. It definitely gets hot. Definitely gets hot.
um, so you have and you have another one coming up in September.
Yeah,
The
that one
Rap
is.
Arena is hosted by Rick Ross.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one, man. That one's gonna be amazing. The rap arena is, exactly how it sounds. It's an arena, and people do rap battles. People also perform music, perform their songs, not just battle.
Okay.
And the guy who hosts it and the creator of it, I believe, Matty Ice, awesome guy. I've met him at the Rick Ross car shows a couple times and stuff like that. Very very genuine person, awesome guy. And so they're hosting a rap arena version in Miami as like a special because they're based out of LA, right? So it's gonna be pretty
Okay.
cool. I'm really excited about it. Um, it's it's not going to be the first time that I've been on the same stage as Rose, but it'll be the first time that I'm performing on the same stage as Rose. Right? I've been on stage while he was performing, and I've like shot content and stuff, a couple
Yeah.
times, like at Florida Fest and things like that. But this is going to be my first time where it's like, they're hosting the event, and I'm actually going up there doing my thing, not just shooting content and being supportive and stuff. So I'm
Hey,
really looking
that's
forward
dope.
to it because of that. Yeah.
That's dope. That's cool. First off, to be able to, like, I'm assuming they invited you personally, right? Like they reached
Yeah,
out. That
Matty Ice reached out because he see me around in the ecosystem. Because I'm a big fan of cars, right? Like I've been going to car shows since I was a kid. They don't have too many car shows here in Canada, but the niche part of Canada that I'm in and where I grew up, they always had a yearly car show, like out on the public streets and stuff. And I always
yeah,
loved going to them and all of that. And it was actually another artist that had reached out to me and started building with me, Misty Blanco from Making the Bands 2 back in the day on MTV. She had actually reached out and had told me about the car show last year, and said, "Oh, you should pull up and network and all this." And then when I did pull up and met everybody, I mean, I got hooked because of the not just because of the people that were there and stuff like that, but because of the cars, because of the culture, because of the food trucks, you know what I mean? Like because of the music and the good vibes. And so then I just, I started really promoting Rose's car show just because I really enjoyed the culture and I thought it was cool. Like here's this, massive artist, that's known all over the world. And yet he's inviting people to his front lawn to, have a car show and have a good time. You know what I mean? And to me, that was just amazing. So I was like, yeah, I want to
yeah.
support that. And that, that
Oh
led to,
man, that's sick
going to
though.
the pool party at his house. And that led to going to the car show this year. And when I went to the car show this year, it was a totally different vibe, a bunch of the team over there, had seen me around online because I was really promoting the car show and posting up content that I had filmed myself for the car show. And so they see me around. So the last year car show was just amazing. It was awesome vibes. I got to go hang out in the garage, VIP style, away from everybody else type thing. I didn't spend too much time there. It was more or less to, grab some waters and things like that because I was really focused on I want to make more content to help them promote, car show number 6 next summer, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so
So
going on stage and being able to perform at an event where Rose is hosting and it's his company and his partners and stuff that are putting it on is I feel very honored and very blessed to have that opportunity,
no, definitely, definitely, and uh, hopefully, like you smack it out the park, like you got it, home run all the
Thank you.
way.
Thank you.
It's like it's a big thing. Like it's definitely a bigger step than what I'm assuming. Um, this is just the beginning for you. Like I'm sure you got other things in the works. I'm sure you got plenty of things that's gonna come up. Whether you know it right now or not, there's something that's gonna be considered even bigger than this event that's coming up that you're gonna be a part of.
Yeah, no, I feel
And
like this is going to be, just the beginning. I feel really blessed when I'm hanging around, the big homie and the fam at MMG and stuff. Everybody's really supportive of each other and all of that, which I really like. from what I've seen, being around some other labels and stuff in my musical journey, there's a lot of competitions even in amongst artists on the same label and stuff, which to me is just crazy, right? Because my envision
Mhm.
is like everybody's supposed to work together as a team, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the vibe that I get from MMG. You know what I mean? Um, that's why I support them so heavy, and I take time out of my day to edit content for their car show and stuff like that. Because I really support, what they have going on, and their mission, and the boss lifestyle and the boss mentality. When I was in business for myself and I was getting you know into my car and going to my office and having to motivate myself to go to work every day and motivate my sales guys to go, business to business and knock on doors all day. I listen to a lot of his music as inspiration to, for myself and for my guys to get out there and hustle for the day and stuff like that. So the fact
Yeah.
that I get to open up for him and all that at the rap arena is just, what? you know, just blows my
Do you have
mind.
an idea of what song you're gonna open up with? I know there's time. You might come up with a
Oh,
banger that gets released beforehand, but
I don't know. I think,
is that gonna stay on the
I'm kind of
low?
torn. Like, I'm not exactly sure how many songs I'm gonna be performing. If I'm performing more than one, then obviously I'm gonna perform a Kevin Rudolph song, like one of the songs I got with Kev. If I can only perform like one or two, I'm really not sure because people are really liking the darkness. When I perform the darkness, it gets a really good reaction. People have a good vibe from it and stuff like that. So I might even end up just performing, my own single that I produced, recorded, mixed and mastered the whole thing by myself. I might not even do the one that I have with the big homie Kevin Rudolph. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna kind of, I got my music and stuff, and I'm just gonna kind of go with the feel, the vibe, and when they say to send in my music for performing and stuff, I'm just gonna kind of go off my gut with what I got going on.
Fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, I mean, I've got my set list of my 6 songs that I do perform. Um, I don't think I'm gonna do a whole 6 songs because I think there's like 30 other artists on this thing. Like, it's a huge thing.
Oh yeah,
So
so it might be cut down like one or two songs, and probably
yeah, yeah. If
because
it's
that's
two
a
songs,
lot
then
of
I'll
people.
do right. Yeah. So if it's 2 songs, then I'll probably do one of the ones with Kevin, and then I'll probably do one of the ones that I have by myself. And if it's only one song, then I don't even know. I'll probably ask my wife, say which one do I send. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, do the good like get that app on your phone, spin it, like
Yeah,
spin the
right.
wheel. Which one am I gonna do?
Yeah,
Russian
right.
roulette.
It's a big thing that goes hand in hand with the overthinking, right? You know what I mean? Like the trauma and
Definitely.
anxiety, constantly overthinking. Those type of decisions sometimes, like, I'll have an idea, and if I'm stuck, I'll bounce it off the wife, or I'll even bounce it off my artist. I'll be like, "Yo, bro, what do you think about this and that?" Because I know he's gonna tell me regardless. If he thinks I'm gonna like what he's saying, because he knows I want something honest, right?
Hmm.
And then I'll kind of make my
And
decision
by
from
the way,
there.
Messenger, I bet he'd probably tell you because he's got a couple. The two that he sent me at least,
Yeah.
those are some banger songs too. So I'm sure he's gonna give you some good advice to lean to, and hopefully like you'll figure it out. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. You'll figure it
Yeah.
out whether you got people helping you do it, but you got it, and I have full faith in you that it's gonna be a good run with you. So,
Appreciate you, bro.
um,
I think it's going to be good
uh,
too. I
I-
was a little bit unsure of, how it was going to play out and stuff before. But now, after this morning and getting turned around and getting sent home from the ferry because of my passport, if it wasn't going to work out, I feel like I would have not found my passport because I would have been a direct stop from it working out right there. Right. But the fact that I came
right,
home, found it like right away, for me, that gives me faith that, okay, it's going to work out. If it wasn't, that was like a prime spot to like make me never see my passport again. I wouldn't have got one in time to go, right?
right.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got a new one in the mail in time to be able to take a flight into the US. And I can't, go if I don't have my passport. So if it wasn't going to work out, I
No,
feel
fair
like
enough.
today
Yeah.
would have been a perfect day to, end that for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy, that
Well,
would have been terrible.
oh yeah, man.
um,
Oh man, I was having a hard time not getting stressed about that one when it took me an hour to drive back from the ferry to getting home and actually checking the house out myself.
well,
But
I mean, at least you found it. You got to figure it out. So, looking
yeah,
forward to seeing more of what you got going on, and looking forward to see what other music you drop. I am gonna listen to Darkness when it comes out. I'm gonna listen
appreciate
to it
you.
all immediately. Um, yeah, no, I wish nothing but the best for you. Hopefully, these upcoming shows it provides you with, I guess, a different view of what you're going for that could help show
Yeah.
you that it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm going to, either way, no matter what happens at the show, I feel like I'm going to feel good that, I showed up, I did my thing, you know, and, and I was able to do it, and if
Yeah,
anything, it's just going to give me more confidence for, the next big show that maybe could have been more intimidating or something, because now I'm going to be like, oh, I got this show, I just
yeah,
fucking
you
did
got
Zap
it.
Arena with Rose. This other show is going to be easy. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
but something I learned in the industry. There's an industry trick, right, for your nerves, because people always get nervous, right? I've done over 200 shows in my career so far, and you still get the butterflies once in a while and stuff, right?
Yeah,
And the biggest thing that I noticed, and this is like a cheat code, right, for artists, is that you ever see artists on stage and they're wearing glasses on stage?
yeah,
Right? And it's like it's dark and shit, and people are like, "Why is this person wearing glasses?" Well, the cheat code is that to calm down your breathing and your nervous system, you wear glasses so people can't see that you have your eyes closed when you're singing, right? Because
fair
if you close
enough.
your eyes and sing, right, then it calms down your breathing, right?
Yeah,
So that's a cheat code that I learned right away in the industry to help me calm my nerves. And so when I'm on stage, I usually bring my glasses on stage for the first little bit, and then it kind of gives me something cool to do, like as a reveal. There's always a point in my show where I rip
yeah.
off the glasses and throw them down, type. You know what I mean? Just silly
Hey, you
stuff
got
like
it
that.
though. I
But
mean, that's cool. I never thought about that with the glasses. I mean, I just figured it was dark, so they put glasses on. So if it was like a nerves thing, they would be able to see the people outside of
yeah,
the stage. So I never really thought too far into like, oh, they probably sing, rapping, singing, whatever it might be, uh, just with the eyes closed to help calm the nerves while they're
yeah,
performing.
just
I
instantly
never would have
calm
thought about that.
nerves. Yeah. When I first started doing shows, I would do like half a song with my eyes closed under my glasses. Yeah, but
Hey,
now
I
I
mean,
feel
you got
pretty
to
good.
start
But
with it, and I'm sure it was nervous, especially the first time.
yeah, yeah, it was. It wasn't. I wasn't so much nervous like, oh, people are gonna judge me or something. I was nervous like more like adrenaline, like I'm excited and like I hope I don't
Yeah,
fuck it up.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, me, I haven't performed like singing wise in probably about 16 years now.
Oh
So if
wow.
I went to try to do it
Yeah.
now, I'm sure like it'd be way different. I don't know how I would personally uh react anymore. I mean, I'm trying to
Right.
get that confidence boosted back up. But it's one of the things I went through that deep, deep, dark like hole basically,
Yeah.
and like I'm trying to build it back in, and uh yeah. But hopefully, like this, I want to eventually take this to a live show and
Right.
to just talk with people
Yeah.
live with people watching me from 20 feet away, 10 feet away, and go that
Yeah.
way. But
That's
due
amazing.
time, and
Yeah, man.
it'll come up.
It's just about putting in one step every day. What's one thing you
Yes,
can do
sir.
today towards the goal, you know? That's how I see it. Especially if I'm feeling overwhelmed or like things aren't happening quick enough. I go, okay, what can I do today? What can I do
Yep.
today? You know, no, my producer isn't available today. I'm in Canada. Everybody else, you know, that produces my music and stuff is in Miami. So it's like I can't do that. So what am I gonna do? Well, I can go outside and make some reels today. All right, well, I'm gonna go do that. Oh, I'm gonna go to the studio today and do that, you know? So it's just all about what little things can you do every day, you know?
I
My
mean, fair
opinion.
enough.
Right.
Had I guess this last question. I know I
Yeah.
said that a couple times already, but
Oh, you're good. You're good.
have you considered moving to Miami if you can?
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I want to move to Miami. I love being in Miami. That being said, I still have, you know, I still got a house that we have a mortgage on here in Canada, and a couple of cars and things like that. Um, but I definitely want to move to Miami. Um, you know, we're just waiting. Me and the wife are just waiting for the right time, right? It's one thing for me to go to Miami by myself, or for her to go there as a visit and a vacation type thing. And it's one thing for me to go there by myself and record with people that you know I'm paying them to produce my music and stuff like that, or go there to
Yeah.
like make content for myself and things like that, right? But we want to get to the point where we got our work permit sorted out so that we can actually move. Once we have the work permit, then we do plan to move. But we want to do everything correctly so that it can be a longevity situation, right? Because the America is really where my analytics on my platforms have been consistent for a long time now, for a couple of years, anyways. Um, and and like 82% of my following and my engagement all comes from America, right? When I'm in Canada, my analytics will be like, you know, 200,000 views on my Instagram a month. When I'm in America, that'll be closer to 3 million a month with no ads, just all organic, right? So I definitely want to
Yeah.
move to America. I just want to do it in a way that is stable for long term, right? So I'm being
Right.
very careful with that because me and my wife do want to move to Miami sometime, and but we want to make sure we're doing it the right way, so you know we can have a long term, you know, situation sorted for ourselves. But
No,
that's something we're
that's
working
fair.
on. You know, we've already talked to you know, an attorney and stuff like that. You know, we're getting the process started for the work permit. You know, it looks like we have a pretty good case for, you know, the artist exemption permit. There's just a couple of other steps that we're working on that we need to, you know, get some things a little bit more secure on. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the goal, man. You know, me and the wife saved up the money that we need in order to, you know, pay the legal fees and do all that type of stuff. So we're just kind of going through the process, but
Okay.
that is really kind of the end goal is that we want to eventually, once I have the proper work permit and stuff, we do want to move to America and we want to, you know, sell our condo in Canada one day and buy a house and or not necessarily a house, but we want to buy a property and put like kind of like a homestead kind of vibe on it, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it's definitely
Now
in
I
the
can
plan.
feel that.
I mean, I love Miami. I remember the first time I got to Miami was when I went there to record with Kevin at a studio I believe we went to Pink House Studio the first time. We've been in the studio a couple times
Okay.
together. I believe the first one was Pink House. And as soon as I landed in Miami, it just, you know, it felt so comfortable. You know, something about it almost felt like a little bit recognizable, even though I'd never been there before or anything like that. And the vibe of the people out there, I absolutely love. You know, obviously, the weather, you know, it doesn't rain as much. And if it does rain, it's like it thunderstorms for like, you know, 20 minutes and it's dry in five. You know what I mean? Versus out
Yeah.
here, it's like if it rains, it's going to rain for like a whole week and you're not even going to see the sun. It's just going to be cloudy. It's just going to be gray out for like a week. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things to
Here,
love
you
about
don't know if it's
Miami.
gonna rain for 5 minutes or 2 days.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah. So that's similar to Vancouver. Yeah.
yeah, it's very dry here. So it's like when it rains, the ground's just soaking it all up, and the
Yeah.
grass will grow. The grass can grow like 2 feet in the matter of a
Wow.
week. So,
Crazy.
like, at least my
Crazy.
backyard. I don't know about everyone else's backyard, but
Yeah.
mine, when it rains, it'll like the end of the week, it's like about up to my
Yeah.
waist.
Woo.
So
Yeah.
it gets tall really quick. And luckily,
Yeah.
it's not a giant yard, but it's still a big yard. So it
Facts.
catches it. Um, but please shout out anywhere where people can find you, like your music, your upcoming shows. I know I just showed your site, but you know.
Yeah, so I'm Five Fires on all platforms, and it's just the number five. It's not spelled out the word five. I'm the only one with the blue check mark on all the platforms. And the one I'm on most right now is Instagram, but I do TikTok as well, and I do TikTok lives probably every other day now, something like that. And
Okay.
I also play like unreleased music on my TikTok lives too, so for people that are coming to vibe and stuff. I don't know, I'll ask people's opinions on different parts and stuff like that. We're doing a TikTok live tomorrow night for the listening party for the single dropping, and we're actually going to do that TikTok live from a giant 100-acre property that has been abandoned for like 20 years, and there's like a giant mansion on the property, like a big indoor pool that's all been graffitied and abandoned. So me and the team are actually going to be TikTok streaming live from there tomorrow. And
Well, I'll definitely tune in then.
yeah, bro, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have a graffiti artist there. He's gonna be, tagging some stuff for the album in the living room of the abandoned mansion. You know what I mean? In the background of the stream. So it's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah,
Hey,
you
I'm
guys
looking
can
forward
find me
to
on
it.
all the platforms. And if you follow me, I'll definitely follow you back, all that good stuff. And definitely appreciate you having me on the show, man. For real. It's been great talking with you. I feel like I could do this whole interview over again and I wouldn't be upset of how I spent my time. So it's been great having the conversation for sure. Definitely appreciate the
Uh,
platform that you're giving to other people to help express their stories and what they've been through and how they've coped with it. It's amazing. So
yeah, I appreciate that. It's definitely
sure,
been a journey through the people I've talked to, but it's the journey of growth. That's what I got to do to not only satisfy myself with it, because I'm very hard on myself, which I'm sure you are too.
right, yeah,
But
big time.
I'm very hard on myself. So like I take everything uh I take everything serious when it comes to my part. I try to be as uh I guess calm and giddy as you can be, but
Yeah,
like when I'm sitting there, I'm going through, oh, does this need edited, whatever it might be. I try to keep it as untouched as possible,
right.
but
Yeah, that's
it's one
cool.
of the things where, yeah, like it's a real enjoyment for me, I should say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I appreciate you for joining me. I really do. It was a great conversation. I
So,
feel the same. Uh, yeah, and hopefully I can get you and Messenger on at the same time at some point because I know he's gonna be
oh
on.
yeah,
So
hell yeah.
be
Well, I'm
ready
gonna
for
be I'm
that
gonna
as
be
well.
back in Miami in person with Messenger after the 28th of August. I'll be back in Miami. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so
Oh yeah, that'd be dope, dude.
we'll line up.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to get something situated. That's for sure. Uh,
Yeah,
truly, I appreciate you joining me today. It was a great conversation. I love getting to know you and
likewise,
the
bro.
journey that you've gone through to get to where you are, and the upcoming journey that you're going with is
Let's
it's
go.
extraordinary, man. It's extraordinary,
Appreciate you,
man.
brother.
So. But thank you everybody for watching. Please go check out Five Fires. He's honestly
Yes,
his
thank you,
music's
guys.
really good. He's it's genuine. Like go check him out on Instagram. You'll see like he's a genuine guy. He's honestly he's there. He's what you gotta what you should definitely look into and get to know more, like I got
Thank you,
to.
bro.
It's cool, man. So peace, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate you, man.